All right, we are ready. Welcome to Launch Your Brand on Demand.
Hello, hello. Welcome. I'm seeing the comments. Everyone's getting excited.
All right, so everyone can hear us okay. This is Greg Ryder coming at you. And that's...
Oh, I'm like, I don't know. This is Candace coming at you.
Hey, and we're new to Zoom, never done a Zoom call like this before. Oh, a few times maybe. I like usually using StreamYard on these things because Candace and I are side by side. But I think the way this is working is when I'm talking, I'm on, and when she's talking,
I'm on.
okay, so I got to get a better cue for you, right? It's like, so I get like I get a drum, I'll bang the drum, I'll slap my hands, and I'll like, pass it to you.
Caught the drumstick. Now I'm tossing it back. You're really tiny on my screen, so I'm like, what?
There's probably a way to fix that. But hey, we're going to get going right away. We are recording this. The recordings are going to be put into the Facebook group. We have a whole agenda for you today. It's going to be fantastic. But first, put it in the chat box. Let us know what city you're calling in from. We want to know where you are coming in from.
Where are you tuning in? And you guys, we're going to dive right into it because we know I saw some comments that it's super late where you're at. We know time is valuable. So if we're talking fast, if we're going quick, that's why, because we want to just fill you up, fill your cup, share wisdom, share how to launch your brand on demand. Oh, it's awesome. I see Texas, LA, Las Vegas, Boston, New York, Oregon, England, Minnesota. 7 p.m. for you, Toby. That's awesome. I love to see where everyone's from. I'm in Arizona, Italy, all the way from Italy. That's awesome. Another Las Vegas. My dad, Greg, for those who don't know, this is my dad. I'm the daughter. He's in sunny California.
Yeah, I'm in Escondido, California, the land, the Hidden Valley, it's called, the Escondido Hidden Valley. So you're coming in from all over the place. This is fantastic. I want to thank you guys for joining us on the official Launch Your Brand on Demand. It's going to be a fantastic day. And so in an effort to kind of get going and respect your time, let's dive right into it. And I've got some house cleaning issues that I want to kind of bring up first, and then we're going to kind of dive into some content. So the first thing is Candace has created a link, and it's a Launch Links account. Now, Launch Links is everybody who's participating in this. Everyone's going to get a free Launch Links account. And what Launch Links is, as a matter of fact, Candace, can you go ahead and bring up Launch Links? Maybe share your screen as I'm talking about this.
Yes.
Show what Launch Links is. So Launch Links is a link in bio tool. And we use this as part of our branding and efficiencies in doing our marketing online. So on Instagram, you can only have one link. On Facebook, you can have a link. And at various places, you have a link. But sometimes we have multiple products or multiple messages that we want to get across. So we have Launch Links. It's your social networking tool, your free Launch Links tool. And everybody's going to get one. So don't worry about when you're going to get it. We're going to send you the links to get one. And Candace is going to share a Launch Links link with you. And it's going to have step by step. Step one, we want you to make sure that this is added to your calendar for the next 3 days. Step two is we want to make sure that you're part of the Facebook group and join the Facebook group, because the Facebook group's where you can get your questions answered. You can ask questions, you can answer questions, you can participate, you can share your logos, you can share your brands, you can get feedback. And we're going to create this like-minded community of firepower, of passionate entrepreneurs who want to make a difference in the world and build their brand. And then step three, and then step four, step five. So it's going to be like we're using Launch Links, our own tool, as a means to deliver the content to you. And I just want to
add to the Facebook group, because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay, we want to make sure you get in that Facebook group. So if you have questions, we will do Q&A at the end of the call. If you have questions, you can do it in the Facebook group, and myself and our team will be answering you there if you're watching the replay.
Yes. Okay. So that's the Launch Links tool. Everyone's going to get a Launch Links account. And I know there's, matter of fact, let's do this real quick. How many people have put a yes in the chat box? If yes, I have a Launch Card account. or no, I don't have a LaunchCart account, because this is all sponsored, brought to you by LaunchCart. I know we have a lot
Or
of
do you
LaunchCart
even know
people.
who LaunchCart is?
Yeah.
Say I don't know if you don't know, because I'm curious to know. Yes, yes, yes.
So we
no,
see a
no, no.
lot of LaunchCart people. Yes, yes, yes.
Awesome. Okay. We love the LaunchCart family. So welcome thank you for
Okay,
being
cool.
here.
So we know we have hundreds of people registered for this that are outside of LaunchCart too. And so we're going to be, the recording's going to be made available in the Facebook groups. I know some people can't make the lives. Okay, cool. So that's that. And we're going to continue to build on that launch links and give you the homework there. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to give away a done for you merch store to one lucky winner. And when I say one lucky winner, that's what this literally is, like a $1,200 or $1,400 value. And we're going to build a merch store for somebody. So
and what that means, are you going to explain what that means? Because I actually got a couple messages from people and they're like, oh, you're giving away your store, Candace? And I'm like, no, I'm not giving away my store. We're giving a store that we're going to build for you, a done for you. So if you're the lucky winner, you get to have me or one of our team get on the call and be like, okay, this is what I want my store to have, this logo, be these colors with these products.
Yeah, so basically it's going to be your store that we charge money for to get built. And what we're going to, and again, this is part of what our ask, we're delivering this content for free to provide value. And I'm going to share with you exactly why we're doing this. So there's no hidden agendas here. And then in return, we're hoping that you will join this contest. And then you'll like us and follow us and share us and email some people. And every time you do something, you get points. Now, some of you might be at this event because of this contest, and some of you might not have heard about the contest. But with this contest, we're going to want you guys to get the link that I just put in the chat, click on it, bookmark it, save it. And then once you create your link, you're going to be able to earn points by doing certain things. And the whole goal is for the next 3 days, we're going to be all using that, share your link. I'm going to be asking you to share it and get more points and do this and do that and help this go viral and to give away the store. And then on Thursday at our graduation day, we will award the winners. Now, in addition to that, we're going to be giving away a trip to Mexico. One of our Launch Shops Partners Program members, he has this cool giveaway company that he's involved with. And we have worked out an arrangement with him to give away a 4-day night in Cancun, Mexico. And all you have to do is pay the taxes. Everything else is paid for. It's an awesome thing. It's an awesome trip. So we're going to give away a trip to Mexico. And then in addition to that, we're going to be giving out some merch, some LaunchCart merch. Why? Because we want you wearing LaunchCart merch. We want you, we want to do what we're going to be teaching you to do. And we're going to be kind of going down that route. So again, I keep hearing the ding dong going on, which means people are continuing to join us. So welcome to all you new people. We're going through the house cleaning and I'm looking at my notes here. Okay, so I got the launch links. That's going to be step-by-step what to do. We're going to join the Facebook group. We're going to do the contest giveaway. Now, I want to talk about the goals for today. So the goals for today, go ahead.
Really quick, I'm going to share the launch link URL right now, but I want you to save it. I don't want you to open and start clicking it. I want you to be present, but I'm going to share it now and share it later. And of course, if you're watching the replay, it'll be in the group. But I want you to go ahead and save this link as well and just bookmark it, because like my dad did mention earlier in this message, I will be adding our steps every day. So right now, we know we have about 3 steps in there. So just bookmark this. I don't want you clicking it and open it right now. Okay. Okay. You can go on.
Well, they got to click it to bookmark it. So you can,
I don't want them to click it. I don't want them to click it and then click on every step.
Okay. So, and I got to tell you, I had this idea to use our tool to do this. And I'm like, this is such a cool way to do this, because you know how it is. We tell you to do this, we give you this link, and then you lose it, you forget it, you don't have it. And then there's multiple links at the end of the day, there's multiple links. And so we're like, what if we just gave you one link? And all you had to do was bookmark one link, but that link gave you all the links. So now that's really cool. Now here's what we're going to do today. And I gotta say this, and I'm going to ask you guys at the end if I hit this promise, but I'm willing to bet you the fact that you're here and you're interested in starting a brand and really building something meaningful with a brand, I'm going to make a promise that I believe today will be some of those valuable information you've ever heard, that you've ever been shared. That's my goal anyway. My goal is that like, this is like, you're going to walk away from this event and you're going to go, I can't believe that was like the best coaching, mentoring, training I've ever had as it relates to anything maybe, but definitely on the branding side of things. So pretty excited about that. And with that being said, I'm very fortunate to be business partners with a gentleman by the name of Bernd Eulman. And Bernd Eulman is what we refer to as the $6 billion man. And I won't go too much into detail with him because when I introduce him in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk about him. But I got to tell you, it's not very often that you get access and you get to hear from a guy that's done $6 billion worth of deals. You guys understand what I'm saying? It's like literally this guy has done billions of dollars worth of business, running the companies for Daymond John. He was the president of FUBU International for Daymond John. He was the president CEO for Fat Fashions for Russell Simmons. He was the CEO for Tommy Hilfiger's company called Star Branding. He's literally done billions of dollars worth of deals. And I know that I got to sneak this in here because he doesn't like it when I say this. I don't know if he would like it if I say this, but he when he was the CEO with Tommy Hilfiger, they had a company, Star Branding, and they had a client. And as part of the deal they did, this client paid him $250,000. $250, that's a lot of money, huh? $250,000 a month. They paid him $250,000 a month for 5 years. Now, I don't know about you, but that's some serious coin, right? $250,000 a month contract. That sounds good to me. I'll take one of those a year. Give me just one of those a year, right? And he had a client that paid him that much money for 5 years every month. So this is the different world. And again, here's what I got to let everyone know. We're going to touch on this world that those big billion-dollar players play in and talk about. And we're going to talk about building massive brands and massive brand equity. But don't let that discourage you. That's just to kind of get you up here, because what you're going to realize is the guys that did that is the same thing you got to do. It's the same steps. There's a lot of the same steps. There's a lot of overlap. And it's much easier than you think. It's much simpler than you think. And when you hear it in a very sequential manner, and you hear it in a very easy format to go, well, we're going to go through today, you're going to, yes, I can do that. And then you're going to realize that, I don't care if you talk about Nike, I don't care if you talk about who you talk about, right? Tommy Hilfiger, it doesn't matter. They all started right where you're at. They all started right where you're at. No matter where you're at, everyone starts at the beginning with nothing. No one just says, here's a brand, and you still create brands out of, there's a progress and there's a process. So you guys excited about that? Let me see what you guys think about that. So that's pretty amazing. And again, I'm very fortunate that we have him as a business partner. We can bring him on. His time is very, very valuable, and it's hard to get his access to him. Okay. So now, and then on top of all that, what we're going to do is we move into tomorrow is we'll say, okay, let's take this down a notch. And how do we launch a brand on demand? How do we take what we learned today and how do we start implementing it tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday? So by the time we come out of Thursday, we have a brand. Now, you guys know that I'm the CEO of LaunchCart, or maybe you don't know. I'm the CEO and founder of LaunchCart. Candace is my youngest daughter. And we help people in the e-commerce space. We do a lot of training. And a lot of you guys have been part of our other trainings where we teach you how to make money online with your store. This is different. This isn't about money. This is about branding and your store and building a merch store for your brand. And then we'll probably even, teach you guys a little bit about our Launch Shops Partners program and how we show people and teach people how to make money building stores. But the whole time, we're going to be providing you value. Now, what's in it for us? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Okay, look, I have no hidden agenda. I want you guys to sign up and become paying customers of LaunchCart. It's real simple. And we're going to give you a coupon, and I'll probably do this tomorrow, that we're going to give you by attending this class and being involved in this class. I'm doing something I've never done before. We're going to give you a 50% off coupon for our liftoff plan. So you can save 50% of your money. That's it. That's really the offer. And then we're going to come up with some other things by the end of this thing to provide more value and help you out. We want to get you to the next level, but I want you to become a paying customer of LaunchCart. That's our agenda. There's nothing more. And agenda number 2 is we want to provide value to you. So when you leave this 4-day challenge, You go, well, those guys are awesome. They great training, great stuff, great value. I learned a lot. We want you talking about us. We want you telling your friends about us. We want you talking to people at the water cooler about us, right? This is how we're growing our businesses, by teaching you to make money online and build brands online. And again, for some of you who don't know, our parent company that owns LaunchCart is called Celebrity Lifestyle Brands, where we work with celebrities and influencers to help them build brands. So we're not talking about stuff that we haven't done or we're not doing. This is kind of what our agenda is. So we're going to give you a 50% coupon on Liftoff. We're going to ask you to become a paying customer of LaunchCart, and we're going to ask you to spread the word. But guess what? We're going to pay you to spread the word. We're going to give you a commission. So every single person who signs up for LaunchCart, you automatically become an affiliate, which is maybe like a referral partner. And then you get a special link in your account, and we'll show you before this challenge is over where to get that special link. And then when you share that special link online and somebody clicks it and they sign up and they become a paying customer, you get paid between 20 and 35% commission forever. So that's kind of a nice thing. So we want to reward you for helping us let the world know we exist and sharing the experience you've had with us. And again, if you don't feel like you had a good experience, obviously you wouldn't do that. But we believe we're going to hit it out of the park and you're going to have an experience of a lifetime. So pretty excited about that. You got anything you want to add to that, Candace?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so I love the transparency that my dad gives. Like I said, we want you to be, of course, a LaunchCart paying customer. But just like he said, it's a win-win, because not only do we want you to be on board LaunchCart, but we're giving you the value to be successful, because we want you to succeed. We're not like, hey, come on LaunchCart and pay us money. We're like, no, no, no. Join LaunchCart, being a customer, join these lives, join these trainings, and then succeed, because we want to continue to give value, so you are successful, because that's a win-win, right? When you're successful using LaunchCart, that's a win for us, and it's a win for you because you're out there building a brand, having passive income, brand, like all this great stuff. So I just want to touch on that it's a win-win, that we want you to succeed. That's why we're also mainly doing this training for free, because we're like, we want to give you the tools, the value, the knowledge.
Yep. There you go. So I'm just texting Bernd, letting him know he's on in 15 minutes. So we're going to get him on. So hold a sec. All right, perfect. And then, okay, so somebody's got to help me keep an eye out for him when he pops on. Okay, so back to my house cleaning. Okay. So here's what we're going to do next. One of the things that my philosophy in life is, you can never accomplish anything that provides happiness, success, freedom without having it together up here. And then the Bible, it talks about renewing your mind, right? And so I always believe that mindset and the way we think about things and the way our thoughts think, and the way the world bombards us with messages, most of them negative, by the way, most of them fearful, by the way, right? So we have to spend time on our mind and our mindset. And so what we try to do, and everyone who's been around me knows that we do this almost every time, but sometimes I forget, but we try to start every day, every training, every session with what we call the Mindset Minute. Now I'm going to go a little bit longer than a minute today, because this is a new group and new training and new whatever. And I really want to spend a little time on mindset and talk about the importance of mindset. And maybe this is something that you hear all the time. Maybe it's something you know very, very well. Maybe sometimes there's people that have never been exposed to this. It's like they've never been exposed to this, the idea of philosophy and the idea of mindset and the idea that control your thoughts and emotions. And I heard what's that guy's name who does there's a guy, I can't remember his blank in my mind. Anyway, he talked about a book, and it was one of his favorite books was The Power of Positive Thinking. And sometimes the power of positive thinking and that whole philosophy has a negative connotation that, oh, you think you can just think positive and things will manifest themselves. Well, I can tell you this, in my belief, if you don't think positive, they for sure won't manifest themselves. Like, you cannot walk around life saying, I can't, I won't, that won't work, that'll never happen, that never happens for me, I can't afford it. You walk around the world and life with that mindset and those things coming out of your mouth, My personal belief is you'll never accomplish anything of significance. You'll never achieve happiness and financial freedom. So, and again, a lot of this to me, I'm a born again, spirit-filled Christian, and I wear that on proudly, and I'm not ashamed of it. And so I get a lot of my wisdom and philosophy from the Bible, right? So the Bible says, speak those things that aren't as though they are. Now that's hard to do, right? That whole speaking those things that are as, even though they're not, right? But again, it's like, that's part of renewing our mind. And then I also believe in this whole idea of vibration and energy, that we are all energy, and the vibration of our energy attracts what we need. And I used to teach people when I had my investment banking firm that you are either a money magnet or you're money repellent, depending on the words that come out of your mouth, the mannerisms, your branding, all these different stuff. So who wants to be a money magnet say yes in the chat box? Yeah, I'll be a money magnet as opposed to a money repellent, right? So with our mindset today, here's the foundation for mindset. The foundation for mindset. This is what drives people to do. Okay. And let me ask you a question. It's 3 words. What's your why? What's your why? What's your why? Why would you get up and work extra hours? Why would you spend the time, your money? Why would you invest your money? Why are you investing your time today? Why? Like, Candace, what's one of your whys, or your why? What's your why?
One of my whys is my daughter, is wanting to show up as the best mother, but also show her, what working hard is and serving you guys. So my why is our community and my daughter.
Right? So she's passionate about that. So once we kind of understand what's our why are we doing what we're doing? Why do I get up out of bed? Why do I fight through the bad days? And I'm like everybody else, Candace, like everyone else, we have our bad days. We get kicked in the teeth. We get kicked in the gut. But the why gets you up and gets you fighting again. And again, I want everyone to try to figure out what's your why and write it down, focus on it, like really be clear on the why and what your goals. Because it's like those analogies. It's like, if I want to drill a hole in something, it's not the drill, it's the hole that I want to get to. The hole is the why. The drill is a tool to get there. This training is a tool to get to the why. But what is your why? So you get clear on your why, and then you can really take things to the next level and focus on accomplishing things with that. Now, with that being said, I'm hoping that you also understand that part of your why and what your goals are is, you're obviously on this call for a reason, is that coaching and mentoring helps you accomplish things, helps you eliminate mistakes. So you combine the why, what's my why, with the proper coaching and the proper mindset. And then I think you have a really good chance of success in accomplishing your goals and your dreams and your visions. Okay. And I see a lot of people say, my kids, that's some great comments. You want to read a couple of those comments? Candace, those are good.
Yeah, Carmen goes, my family create generational wealth and to be able to donate when I want without thinking about it, empowering women in my family, my kids. Now as a single stay-at-home mother, I want to show my boys that I can do amazing things even while teaching them homeschool. I can build a blog, a brand, a business that helps others. I love that, Nicole. And I love that because just to, piggyback off of my dad, it's one thing to know your why, but what's the why behind that? I didn't dive deep, and maybe I will on the Facebook group, but I'm like, my why, okay, is my daughter, but why? What is it? Go down. That's why, like with Nicole, she broke it down because it kind of makes your why have more clarity. And then also, I just want to say a couple other things. When my dad was saying, like, you can't walk around being like, I can't do that. It's not for me. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Who am I to do that? Blah, blah, blah. That's first of all, imposter syndrome, right? And you attract what you are. So if you say those things, you're going to attract that. But if you do speak healthy, positive, empowering words throughout the day to yourself, you're going to attract that, because anything negative is not going to come your way. It's not going to go in your cup. It's going to bounce right off of your cup. And then my last little nugget that I have written down is, and the reason why I'm sharing this is because I've been there. Just a year ago, I lacked confidence. I was like, I can't do this. I can't build stores. Who am I to build stores and make money and blah, 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 just the imposter syndrome and the negative belief system. But here's something I want to share. Confidence doesn't come first. Confidence is built by taking the messy action, being willing to show up even when you don't feel rock solid, and we build confidence along the way. And I truly believe that, because back in December, when it was the pandemic, I was a single mom at the time. I didn't know what I was going to do, to make money. It was a hard time for me, but my dad was like, you got to get going, Candace, come on, take action. And I had no confidence, but then I started doing the things, which we're going to show you. I built myself a brand, and then I also started to get my own clients. I started to coach, and my confidence was built by taking action. So I'm going to read it one more time because I'm seeing the comments. Confidence doesn't come first. Confidence is built by taking the messy action, being willing to show up even when you don't feel rock solid, and build confidence along the way. So I want you guys to sit on that and think that it's going to come, but you got to show up and you have to take that action.
Yes, that's so good. Thanks, Candace. That's awesome. So trying to wrap that up, like, what's your why? And then write this down. Lose your why, lose your way. Like, you lose your why, you lose your way. Your why's got to be driven by, your business, your vision, everything in your life's got to be driven by your why and your passion. But if you lose your why, you're going to lose your way, right? So what we want to do, and this is the last thought of the Mindset Minute, is we want to be intentional and we want to be impactful. And that's going to tie right into today's, building a brand. What is a brand? We want to be intentional and we want to be practical, right? So these are the kind of things that we want to inspire you to do. Actually, I messed up. I got one more thing as far as the Mindset Minute. And you're going to be part of a community. Like, literally, the people on this call, you're resonating with this. You like this. We can all build a community of like-minded people that lift each other up, that help each other, that pat each other on the back, that support each other. And we can help create accountability groups. We can network together. And there's people on this call that have partnered up with somebody else on there, and they work together on their stuff. So we want to help. We want to help do that too, because it's hard to go it alone. It's hard. It's so hard to go it alone. In this day and age and all this crazy stuff going on in our world, we need a community of people that can support us and build us up and keep us going. Okay. So that's the Mindset Minute. What do you guys think of that Mindset Minute? All right.
Yes. And if you love that, get ready for it. We're going to give it to you every day, because we do believe mindset support. And we believe the accountability in the community is also just as important.
Okay. So what we're going to do next is Bert should be here any second now. Let me just tell him, let me know when he's on.
Yeah, I'll look. Let me see.
Okay.
But yes, I see. Great. Agree. Love it. Love it. Awesome.
Hey, and if you want to type in what your why is, go ahead and type that in. We'll share it if you want to share it. It helps. Some people that are kind of really clear on that. It helps others to hear other people, right?
Well, yeah, and because when you share, you guys, when I share my voice, my story, when my dad shares his voice, his story, it gives you now permission to do the same. So when you share in the comments, you're giving permission to one of the viewers to do the same. It's like, oh, okay,
Right.
If I can do it, you can do it, and vice versa.
This Thursday,
So I
I'm
think
doing
it's
an
important to
absolutely free
continue. And then
masterclass
also,
where
I
I'm going to be
think
showing you
sharing
all the
your
tricks
why
that the dropshippers
reaffirms your why. It's like, yeah, that's my why. So I think sharing it in the comments, waking up every day and saying it to yourself in the mirror, it's going to reaffirm that and give power.
Yeah. So hold on a second.
Thank you, Eugene. Launchcart has and does the best mentoring and coaching of any group that I have ever been associated with. Wow. Thank you, Eugene.
All right. So Bernd says he's on his way. He's coming in now. So Bernd Ullman, we actually creating a new acronym. You guys know how there's acronyms like CEO and COO and Chief Financial Officer and Chief Operation Officer. We created the acronym, never been created before, CBA. So as part of his brand, the Chief Brand Accelerator. And here's his website. And by the way, how many of you guys would like to have a free copy of his book, The $1 Billion Branding Blueprint? Go ahead and comment in there if you want a free copy of the book, because that's going to be part of this. We're going to give away a copy of Bernt's book. And of course, we're going to have you pay the shipping and handling, but we'll ship it to you and give you a free copy of the book. Bernt's resume is just unparalleled and amazing out there. Having built the brands for Adam Levine and Jennifer Lopez and Nicki Minaj, just to name a few. I'm going to go over here to this Brand Accelerator page, and you're going to see here on this page how we've positioned Bernt's brand as the brand accelerator, right? If you're looking for the best brand business accelerator coach, mentor, consultant, look no further. So there's a $10,000 program a month, a $49,000 a month, and then a $249,000 a month program. So you can obviously see when people come to the website how we position the brand and how it looks like and who we are and what we're doing. So that's pretty exciting stuff. And I am going to, let me see here. So let me do this. I'm going to play a little sizzle reel, and then we're going to bring old Bernt on board here. So let me go maximize. Oh wait, I got to stop sharing my screen and do the audio. I forgot to share the audio. So I got to go share screen, share sound, boom, boom. And we'll go full screen with this.
But I want to acknowledge my buddy here, Bernt Ullman, who took my company from 100 million to 400 million globally. And these are the type of individuals that I've learned from and I have in Damon On Demand. Bernt's no longer with me. He's out there running brands for J-Lo and Mark Anthony, but the man is a genius. This guy's a powerhouse. Say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. All right, there you go.
Starts with building what we refer to as brand equity. Brand equity is kind of the value of your brand. And why I like that so much is that is actually allowing you to build wealth. So now you're working on your business, but you're building wealth because this property, the brand in and of itself, has a value. And that means that if you so desire, down the line you can have an exit. You now have a tangible asset and you can sell it. If you are just working day to day and doing business, there's nothing there to sell. If you're not there doing it, it's not happening, there's no business, there's nothing for you to sell. So brand equity equals wealth. And with brand equity, you can create brand acceleration. That's more wealth.
So with that, let's give a big round online applause. Don't even know how you do that for Mr. Bernt Ullman. Are you there, Bernt?
Yes.
I'm asking him to unmute. It says he's muted. I see him here.
All right, we'll try that again.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Hello.
Hello, everybody. That was great. Good to be here. Good to see you. What is
thanks,
happening?
Bernt. We are in the middle of a Launch Your Brand on Demand. We started day one today. We just got going through mindset and kind of laying the groundworks. And we want to have you lay the groundworks for what a brand is, a little bit about brand equity, tell a couple of your stories. I know your time is extremely valuable. We're very, very thankful to have you here. And let's just dive right into it if it's okay with you.
Absolutely, and a pleasure to be here.
So I just offered your book for free. I'm going to pay for your book. We're going to give it out to everybody, but they're going to pay shipping and handling. So that's going to be kind of add on to this. But let's start. Let's talk about from a perspective of where you come from, playing at the $1 billion level. What is a brand?
Yeah, so a brand in its purest form, it's really just a name or a design or a symbol that sets your product or your service apart from the competition. So something that is identifiable in the eye of the consumer that sets you or your product apart from the competition. That's a brand.
And that leads to, you mentioned in that sizzle reel, what you're always talking about is what's the difference between brand and brand equity, and then kind of expand on maybe some of the components, because everyone thinks, well, brand's my logo.
Yeah, no, the brand is not your logo. The logo is just one small component to what your brand is. And to answer your question about brand equity, in its purest form, your brand equity is simply the value of your brand in the mind of the consumer. So what's so exciting about brands, and why I love brands so much, is that when you build a brand and you have this kind of identifying name mark that has value in the mind of the consumer, and you start building your brand equity, it allows you a lot of other monetization opportunities. So whatever your product is, whatever your service is, whatever you're selling, that is terrific. And I commend anyone that's in business on having created the business. So I think that's terrific. You're doing your business, you're doing transactions. However, if you don't have a brand, I will argue that you're selling yourself short. You can do better business if you have a brand. And what I mean by that is a strong brand with brand equity has a value in the mind of the consumer. So a strong brand will actually allow you to charge more for your services while spending less on having to market your product and your services. And while you're doing that and now doing better, more profitable business, you're building the value of your brand, the brand equity, and this affords you several opportunities. You can now leverage the brand equity through, for instance, what's called licensing, where you can go out and you can get best-in-class operators. So let's take an example. You have created the product. Let's say you created a clothing line. Take a world that I'm quite familiar with. I've done a lot of work in the fashion space, as some of you may know, entertainment, celebrity. So let's say you created a clothing line, and you're really good at making clothing and you're building your brand. And now you have brand equity. What can you do? You can say, okay, if I have clothing, maybe I should have bags. You can go to a best-in-class bag maker. They will pay you a fee to get the rights to attach your brand to their bags, and you will collect what's called royalty, and you will have a scheduled, measurable revenue stream coming from the bags. And if you're doing it for the bags, you can now do it for the shoes. You can do it for eyewear. You can do it for headwear. You can sign jewelry licenses. You can sign a watch license, and the list go on and on. So when you build a strong brand, your strong brand is monetizable through licensing. In addition, when it comes to brands, what's so valuable in having strong brand equity is you actually have something to sell. If you're simply doing a service or you're selling a non-branded product, you have to reinvent yourself every day. Every transaction is your last transaction, and the next transaction you start fresh. When you have a brand and you're building brand equity, you keep on building something for the future, and you can have an exit where you actually sell your product, your brand, or your company for a premium. And there are a number of great examples of this. I don't know if you want me to go on, Greg, or if you have any questions. I can talk for hours about brands.
Well, no, I like that. I like an example of let's get going back to your apparel example. You know how you talk in the worksheet and the slideshow where you talk about the t-shirts, right? You got the Hanes t-shirt, the Nautica, the Ralph Lauren. I'll even pull up a screenshot and you can kind of walk through this screenshot real quick.
Yeah, no, let me do that. So yeah, and that's a great example. So if you pull it up, but either way, what's so interesting is that you have here a couple of examples of, in essence, the same product. It's a plain white t-shirt. And all of these are brands. The first example is Hanes. It's a brand, it's a value brand. And I want to say, I can't read the slide, but you know, a 3-pack is probably still available for around $8.50, $9. So that's 3 white t-shirts, right? And then you have Nautica, which is also a brand higher position, and they can get, you know, around $18, $19 for their plain white t-shirt. Ralph Lauren, it's a stronger brand, and now you're talking maybe high 30s or $40, maybe even more, for what's still looking like a plain white t-shirt. And the last example is a designer. His name is John Varvatos. And lo and behold, he gets anywhere from around $100 to $150 for a t-shirt. Now, how can this happen? And that's going back to the example we gave of brand equity. That is the value of the brand in the mind of the consumer. So there is an audience out there that feels that buying what looks like a plain white t-shirt from John Varvatos is worth up to $150 versus the Hanes one, where you can probably still get 3 for the price of $10.
You know, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow about the emotions, different things, and a little bit today on that as well. But we're going to show you how you can get, you know, a higher price for your merch with the proper emotions. So
Yeah.
let me share this with you, because I remember Larry Benet said this to me. He's like, yeah, but Burnt's launched the brands for Jennifer Lopez and launched the brands for Nicki Minaj and all these big celebrities, but has he ever really just launched a brand from the ground up? And I never forget your response to that. I would love you to share that, because everyone thinks you're like the big guy, but all brands start somewhere at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's so funny. And yes, that is true. But quite frankly, the reality is each and every one of these transactions started at 0. Because what we do, and I don't care whether it's Jennifer Lopez or someone else, we typically, and what we are really good at, is we go and open up new product verticals. So we're saying, in the example of Jennifer Lopez, that's great, Jennifer, be on stage, sing. As of this moment, you know, you have $0 worth of sale in the fashion space. So you go and do your thing, and we then will spend time on figuring out how to monetize the value of your personal brand. So we create what's called typically a brand book, often referred to as a brand Bible. What we focus on is what we call brand DNA. What are the kind of quintessential drivers, or the USP, unique selling proposition of the brand? You hone in on that. And then you build out the whole brand universe. And then you take that to market, and you find kind of best-in-class partners. And there are many examples. So one of the ones, and a brand that we have worked on, you know, together for years, if you take Bethany Frankel's Skinny Girl, I think that's actually a great example on brand and branding. So Bethany Frankel was one of the original housewives of New York. And you know, Bethany was on the show because she has, you know, a bit of a mouth. You know, the reality is that it's a show first and foremost about these well-to-do ladies living, you know, the housewife life. But when Bethany joined the show, she was no one's housewife, and she wasn't well-to-do. But as I said, you know, she has a sharp wit, and so she made it onto the show. They all need a storyline, and she figured out, you know, they like to go out, they're supposed to have fun. And she came up with a concept that the ladies should be able to go out and have a good time without packing on the pounds. So she gave birth to the concept Skinny Girl. And it started with alcoholic beverage. So it was Skinny Girl cocktails, Skinny Girl margaritas. 3 seasons later, after launching this on the show, she had a transaction, and she sold not the company, because there wasn't much of a company. She didn't sell the full brand. She only sold the alcoholic beverage rights to Beam Suntory for $100 million. That's the power of brand and brand equity. So she created something from scratch, and we leveraged it into a transaction where no physical anything changed hands. They simply bought the IP, the intellectual property rights for alcoholic beverage for $100 million. So that's the power of brand.
No, that's a great story. So I want you to tell two other stories that are really good. One is, let's talk about the LL Cool J story and how that whole thing with Gap and FUBU and Damon John. And then also I think is another really applicable is that story with Russell Simmons and the hockey jerseys.
Yeah. So yeah, both are great stories. So take the Russell Simmons story first. And this is, quite a few years ago. The brand was Fat Farm. He created Russell Simmons, and he's a really unique, business leader who first created Def Jam. He founded Def Jam. He sold Def Jam for over $100 million. And then, and the focus of Def Jam was really hip hop and rap. And then Russell said, hey, this is more than just music to me. It's a lifestyle. So he created the clothing brand Fat Farm. And most people don't know, and I don't know how great of a name it really was, but Fat Farm, the fat, P-H-A-T, was an acronym standing for pretty hot and tempting. And the farm is where you grow stuff. So he gave birth to this brand that was pretty hot and tempting and, grown on the farm. So Fat Farm goes to market, he starts building it, and he has a vision for what the brand is. And the messaging was fairly simple and straightforward. It was classic with a twist, but it needed to have a twist, but it had a classic element. A lot of the other kind of hip hop inspired brands were focusing more on football jerseys, hockey jerseys, loose baggy clothing, etc. That wasn't really Russell's vision for Fat Farm. At one point, he was offered an order for 50,000 hockey jerseys with the Fat Farm logo on them. And that's a big order because these jerseys were going for a lot of money back then. And while he thought about it for a minute, he didn't think very long because he felt hockey jerseys, it is not on brand. It doesn't align with his vision for his brand. And he passed on this order for 50,000 hockey jerseys. Again, those jerseys were going for almost $100 a pop. It's a huge order. So he stayed true to his vision, stayed true to his brand, stayed on message, did the old concentrate and dominate, didn't try to be all things to all people. And he sold his brand for $140 million to Kelwood. So I think, again, it speaks to the power of brand, and it speaks to the importance and the significance of being consistent in your messaging. That is very powerful when it comes to branding. You have to be consistent. It has to be the same message across all consumer touch points. Now, jumping to LL Cool J, that's just a funny story. There are a lot of stories when it comes to how FUBU was launched, and a lot of great ideas, quite frankly, for entrepreneurs that, don't necessarily have a lot of capital available. Because let's go back to the same, Larry Binet, like, well, it's all well and good for all these big companies. But when FUBU launched, it was, flying close to the ground. And there are a couple of examples of what you can do with a little bit of ingenuity. So before I get to the LL Cool J, I'll just give you a couple of other kind of quick examples. One of the things that the guys did, and that's Damon John, of course, who's now, one of the leading sharks on Shark Tank, is Shark Tank. He's referred to as the people shark on Shark Tank. Back then, he was the founder and CEO of FUBU. And what the guys came up with, so they were from Hollis, Queens. And the connectivity to LL Cool J is that he's also from Hollis, Queens. They grew up in the same neighborhood. And every night in Queens, New York, back in the day, all of the shops there had these metal gates that they pulled down when they closed up shop to protect their stores. And over the years, these metal gates, they got dirty and grimy, and they looked kind of terrible. And one day, the FUBU guys, they're walking through their neighborhood, seeing all these metal gates, and they came up with the idea. They went to every store owner, and they said, we will offer to wash and paint your gates for free, so they look nicer, in return for us being able to put the FUBU logo on your gates. Most store owners, agreed. It's great. Get it clean, get it serviced, get it painted. Why not? So at night in Queens, this upstart FUBU brand was on every single storefront throughout the neighborhood. Cost nothing, a little bit of effort, and a really great way to raise awareness. So that's one example they did. Another
Such a great
example, which
story.
is always, one of my favorites, is they had attracted their first investor, and they're attending their first trade show. Trade show is called Magic. It's in Las Vegas. It's a big to-do. And they're going to the show, and it's a startup. They have a small booth, a couple of tables, but they had partnered now with a company that had 6 road salespeople. Message went out before the show to all the 6 sales guys. Contact all of your buyers and have them come to the booth at 9 o'clock at the first day of the show. And the sales guy would, I can't do that. I can't service all I have 100 guys. I can't have them all come by. It doesn't work. But of course, at the end of the day, the message was just please do it as we ask. So 6 salespeople contacted all of their buyers, plus minus 100, and have them all show up at 9 o'clock the morning of the first day of the show. Now, 9 o'clock in the morning is when all the other buyers arrive. They walk onto the trade show floor. There are people milling about, except there's one booth where there is this massive assembly of buyers standing around the booth. And that's, of course, the FUBU booth. Every other single buyer was like, what is going on? Excuse me. They all came over. So FUBU invented FOMO before anyone knew what FOMO was, because every buyer was afraid of missing out and visited the FUBU booth. Again, costs nothing. Now, the story that launched FUBU, that was really LL Cool J, the friend, from the neighborhood. And LL Cool J was at that point a fairly successful rapper already. And a very large, successful brand at the time, The Gap, was looking to be more relevant with the youth demographic. So they reached out to LL and asked if he could make a rap for The Gap. It would be their annual national advertising campaign. It came with a $30 million budget. And LL Cool J concurred. He took on the job, but he had noticed Gap at that time had no headwear, and LL always wore a cap. So he said, is it okay that I wear my own cap? And they said, yes, that would be fine. So he shows up and he starts rapping about the Gap. On his head, he has a cap that says FB, and all the kids out there knew that means FUBU. And lo and behold, if that was not enough, in the middle of this Gap commercial in the rap, he says, for us, by us, on the low. And FUBU is an acronym. It means for us, by us. On the low means, of course, on the quiet. Don't tell all those moronic executives that are, spending $30 million. So the Gap was thrilled. Commercial went up, ran on televisions everywhere. And it was the most effective stealth, launch campaign for any brand ever, but not for Gap, but for FUBU.
Let me play that video real quick.
Okay.
I know you like your outfit stylish, any other line but the Gap is childish. Everybody working as your personal stylist. You're falling, once you hear the Gap calling, you can't resist the shopping, big ballin', not stopping, yes, y'allin'. Jeans popping in every mall in town and city. GAP, gritty, ready to go, for us, by us, on the low. G, that's for getting the A for always. P, that's for power and the people that praise backwards. P for popular, A for attitude. G, get it going, daddy, Gap is on the move. How easy is this? Fall into the Gap.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't know if you all heard it, but that was for us, by us, on the low, and the cap was a FUBU cap, and every kid out there, couldn't have been more excited. However, while heads were rolling over at the Gap once they figured it out, it turned out to have a silver lining, because the kids figured out that, well, if LL Cool J is doing a Gap commercial and he's mentioning FUBU, the only thing that makes sense is you can probably buy FUBU at the Gap. So all the kids went to the store anyway. So all is well that ends well.
Such a great story. And you think about how that transcends today with influencers and creative marketing and guerrilla type marketing strategies. We're going to cover some of that. I'm going to let you go, Bernd. Is there any last little thoughts?
I just want to make a comment though. Hi, Bert, on what he was saying earlier. I love these stories because I'm a visual person. But you brought up like what's, the meaning behind the brand. And I'm actually going through another program myself, and what you said stood out based off of what I'm learning on this other course. It was like, you're selling the aspirational identity. So for the FUBU, it's like these kids are running to Gap because they want that identity. They want to be identified with that. So, but I do have a question, and then we can let you go. And I wrote this down earlier. What is the best advice you can give to someone just starting out, or maybe an influencer who is like gaining traction? They're going viral on TikTok, Instagram. They're building a pretty decent following. What is the best advice you can give to them to start thinking of their brand and what they can do to build their own brand, their brand equity?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I love the fact that you're like studying brands and branding, and because at the end of the day, it is so worthwhile. I think the simplest answer to a person like that is to start to focus in on consistency. And what I mean by that is, sometimes, we're just doing stuff and we're out there and we're making some noise in the market, and that's great. But great brands have a number of things. They are easy to remember. They're easy to repeat. You can refer. So you want to have certain things that you can hone in on that always happen every time. And of course, part of that is have a logo, have colors, have a saying, and then start to repeat that and organize that and put it out there. That's kind of when we were talking about the brand book and the brand Bible. Start to build that so you can have that consistency in message. Because I don't care, and you touched on it yourself, all successful brand, they have to be authentic, and they have to be aspirational. So, if your brand isn't credible in the mind of the consumer, if it's not seen as authentic, and that happens a lot when influencers start building their name. They start getting, say someone is building their name and they're funny, and they're starting to get known for that. But then, someone comes with, making it up, but, dog food. And if it's not done well, it's going to look just like they're selling out. They're just attaching their name. There's no authenticity. You understand? In that, for instance, relationship, if they are lending their name to the dog food brand, and it might not be a great example, but the point is, all great brands, as I said, they have to have all of those components where they have to be authentic, and they have to be credible, and they have to be aspirational. So very often when you're talking about personal brands, when it doesn't work, it's when the consumer kind of see through it and it's looking just like a money grab. They're attaching their name to something. It's not something they're passionate about. It's not credible that they're involved in this. It's not credible that they have anything to do with this. The consumers see through that right away. So it should never be about, I would say, successful brands, and I don't really care, successful businesses. It should never be for the purpose of just making a profit. You know what I'm saying? So all of these guys that you are referring to need to take one step back and say, like, why? What's the point? Because at the end of the day, you need to bring value. You need to bring some type of value to your community. You need to be solving some form of a problem. That is the starting point, I think, for all business. And then you build your brand from there through consistency. But, happy to elaborate, but, and I love the question.
Thank you. No, that was a great answer. Thank you for that. I'm like, perfect. And I love the consistency because I think that's true. Just one little comment, because I love the visual teas. I remember following these big YouTubers before they ever got big. And what
Yeah.
stood out for me to them is they literally, from their very first video, before they ever blew up, I'm like, I think just, I don't know, came natural or what, but they had the same intro and outro for every video until this day, like 6 years later. And now they have like 17 million followers, same intro, same outro. And I'm like, wow, they were doing branding kind of with that saying before they probably even knew it. Or maybe they did.
Yeah, some of them probably did.
Yeah.
Very few accidents out there, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly, consistency is important. That's a cornerstone of and pillar of brand building.
Yeah.
Okay, Bern, I
And then,
got,
of course,
one,
last piece before, I'll jump off. Remember emotive connection. So that's also critically important. All great brands have some type of emotional driver. We often say, and Greg, you know this, we often say, that a consumer, they may forget what you say. They may even forget what you do.
Mm.
They will not forget how you make them feel. So that's critically important.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I got one more thing for you, Bernd, because you have a story about Phil Knight, and everybody starts somewhere. And, we're all working on our mindset. We're all working on our building our brands and our businesses. Can you tell that quick little story of Phil Knight? And then we'll let you go.
Yeah, that's not so much the story as it simply is, this is the origins. And so Phil Knight was, back in the day, a student athlete. And he was simply someone that cared about, his athletics prowess. And he ultimately wanted to start a business, and it wasn't always called Nike. I'm not remembering offhand what the original name was, but it was a different name. And he started actually the business with his coach. And what's so interesting is, so here you have a guy, he's a student in college, and with his old coach, they start this brand. And today it is Nike. And Nike, I haven't checked in a while, but their market cap is north of $100 billion. I mean, it's a staggeringly big business. And he started out of his college dorm room. That's how so many of these brands start.
And I think that the takeaway I want everyone to recognize is they all start somewhere. They don't start as these big giant brands. They start somewhere. All right. Well, thank you, Bernd. Let's give Bernd a big round of applause as the exit. Thank you very much, Bernd. We appreciate you.
Thank you,
God bless you. Have a fantastic
All right.
day.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank
All right,
you,
bye-bye.
Bernd.
Bye.
I'm just
All
gonna read
right.
the comments. Very inspirational. Thank you, Bert. Thank you for coming, Bert. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Hurrah. Everyone's loving
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, you guys. So this went a little bit longer than I thought, but was that fantastic or what?
Yeah.
Did you guys like that?
Comment below. And I also want to know, because he was sharing so much amazing stories and just giving visual concepts, comment below if you have an aha moment or a takeaway. I'd love to see what your takeaway was from Bernd coming on.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good one.
Great info. Excellent. Thank you. Yes. Yes. We're so happy. We're so happy that we're able to bring him on and share him. Yeah. Consistency with the clear message. That's the takeaway. Selena, people remember how you make them feel. Yes, which we will actually be diving into through these 4 days, because that is so big on how your customer feels. The emotion, the emotive point is great and largely underrated. Kimberly goes, be consistent and true to your brand. So spend time setting up your brand. Terry, takeaway, concentrate and dominate. Concentrate and dominate. Chanel, consistency is key. Add value and emotive connection. I like the concentrate and dominate, because that makes me think about, if you are confused, if your brand's confused, your customer's going to be confused. So if you concentrate and dominate and get rid of the confusion, it's going to be awesome. Taking plenty of notes, being authentic, stood out, be deliberate. I love these takeaways and aha moments. Thank you for
And so
sharing,
what we want to
everyone.
do is we want to, as we move forward, think about how do we apply these in what we're doing with our branded merch stores and our online stores. So we're going to wrap this up in just a minute. but I had a whole PowerPoint presentation, but guess what? It's like, I think it'd take me another 45 minutes to get through it. So I'm not going to go through it completely, but I am going to show you what it is, because this is your first gift. Your first gift that we're going to give you is what we call the Brand Acceleration Workbook. And it's basically what Burnt and I teach, and mainly Burnt. I coached him, I helped him create this, but it's all his content with my added. But let me share my screen, and I'm going to show you what you guys are going to get, because taking notes is great, and I'm glad you did that, but it's hard to really do something.
Well, now it's time to take action, and that's what this is for, is to help you take action.
Well, and this is going to be your best notes. So this is your Launch Your Brand on Demand version. And this is compliments of the $6 billion Brand Acceleration Workbook. This should say compliments of before, but again, this is what we put together. What is a brand? You know, give you examples. What is brand equity? You know, and then we're going to talk about, it's like your little, little mini book that's going to go with this. Focus on what your mission statement is, what we do. We're going to talk about, give you examples, because I know Candace, like she said, she's visual. We're going to talk about action steps. What's your missing statements? We provide product or service so they can be product, benefit. So we're giving you all these little steps that you can do that's going to help you build your brand identity, your brand Bible, your vision statement, your mission statement. We're giving you examples. And then 5 years, where would you like your company to be? What kind of customers are you working with every day, right? In 10 years, if your dream magazine was published an article praising your business, what would the headline be, right? This is the kind of stuff, the futuristic stuff that we want you to start thinking about. What celebrities and influencers would you like to be praising your brand? What do they say? Write your dream testimonials, right? We're going to help you get through this visions, this stuff, and kind of take your whole business and your brand to a whole nother level. What are your core values? Like, what are your core values? Here's ours: trust, faith, family, passion, respect, integrity, relationship, appreciation, transparency, accountability, high standards, right? So we're going to get you, this workbook is going to be gold for you, right? You're going to take this, you're going to look at it, you're going to fill it out, and then you're going to look at it and look at it and look at it and start working on it. And then you're going to reevaluate it down the road. And again, what did Brand say? The most important aspects: authentic, credible, aspirational, right? What are the action steps? Find your personality. Now, again, I'm blowing through this because I'm going to give this to you. You're going to get this. Concentrate and dominate, analyzing your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And again, for some of you who are just starting, this is way too much. This is overkill. But this is something to really get you to take it to another level, and to think and to concentrate and to meditate, whatever. So you're doing things a little bit different, to a little bit different, higher level.
Yeah. Because even if you might get this and open and you're like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, it's okay. Just go through it, read through it. So now the seed is planted, right? Because maybe you're not there right now, but in a week, in a month, as you continue to go through this 4-day training, as you continue to feed your mind, fuel your brain, and learn and kind of get clarity on your why and what you want to create, you will have this as your guidebook, as your tool book to hold your hand and walk you through this process. Of course, our community. So I just wanted to touch on that, because I've been in that position where I'm like, I'm just starting out. I don't, this is overwhelming, but this will be something you could use today, a year from now, tomorrow, and so forth.
And think about it, it never ends. Like even with LaunchCart, I'm still struggling personally with a lot of this stuff on LaunchCart, because it's like, we're growing, we're changing, we're evolving, we're innovating. So how does that change my messaging? How does that change my mission? How does that change things, right? So it's not like we're locking you in a box, but it's just, again, it's things you want you to think about. And we want your team to think about, people on your team to think about, and we want you to kind of go through this and really put some thought into, your future. And again, this is one of my favorite things, this billboard. This is how Tommy Hilfiger launched his billboard. The 4 greatest American designers are Ralph Lauren. Does anyone know who these are? P&E and CK and TH? I should ask that question before I say, this billboard launched Tommy Hilfiger. This was a huge billboard put up in Times Square. And at the time, no one knew who Tommy Hilfiger was. So obviously we know the last one's Tommy Hilfiger. No one knew who Tommy Hilfiger was, but everyone knew who Calvin Klein was, Perry Ellis, Ralph Lauren. Everyone knew who those 3 people were. So a really cool idea of building the brand. And the prize goes and then we got stuff in here about trademarks and designs, copyrights, again, stuff to help you get through this. And we have a whole course that goes with this. So if this is something, that you like, maybe you want to get access to that course, which comes with the premium price. Now, here's a good question. Just by the color of these boxes, which color of the box comes with a premium price? I know the men almost always flunk this test, but the women almost always pass this test. Which color of box is the one that has the higher price? Anybody who's ever shopped at Tiffany knows, right? That's for sure.
Tiffany blue.
Okay.
Chanel
Tiffany
says.
blue. So this is a pretty good memory workbook to kind of get you through, keep you thinking, keep you going on what's going on, extension, licensing. It's a little bit more than what we're going to be covering with this course, but why not? We'll give it to you guys.
But we're giving it to you as a gift. Yeah, as a gift.
Exactly.
Because we want you to have this. Because if we could, literally, we could turn this 4-day challenge into like a 12-day challenge, so we could give this all day, but we can't. But that's why my dad's like, I'm going to just give this gift to you all.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, tell us what you thought of today's training on the value prop. On the value 1, I got no value. 10, I got a lot of value. What did you guys think on today's day 1? All right, I see some 15s. Woohoo! All right, lots of 10s, some 9.5s, and 8 and 9. All right, cool. 9.2. All right, we're right up there in the Olympics. Okay, so get that link out, join the contest, do the viral sharing of the contest, like us, follow us, send some emails out, make some posts, use your link, help us drive people in. We're still going to get people in day 2, day 3, day 4. This is all going to be recorded in the group. So what's going to happen next is I'm going to upload this worksheet and the video for today in the group, and we'll make it a guide. So you'll be guides. It'll be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And let's get into we'll make some polls in the group. We want you to answer the polls in the group. And we'll be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm not sure what time it is in London and Italy and all over the world where everyone's from. But I want to say thank you guys very much. We appreciate you. And Candace, you got any things you want to wrap up?
Yes. So as he mentioned, you have homework. So I'm going to share the launch link. Okay. So everyone click this link, bookmark it, save it. You're going to have your homework on this page. Once you click on it, you'll see it says enter our contest, add this to your calendar. When it says add to your calendar, it's to add these trainings to your calendar so you don't miss them live. Step 2, join the Facebook group if you're not already in there, because in the Facebook group, I see Kimberly's question. That's where you're going to find the workbook that he just talked about. And like he said, this is a gift. So you guys, please don't share the workbook out with friends, family. This is for you. It's a gift. We normally charge for this. And I saw a question about, can you white label it? No one can white label that workbook. And then step 3, most important for those who don't have a store, go create your store on Launchcart, because day 2, day 3, day 4, we're going to dive into building your brand on demand, building your store. So we want you to have these things in line, ready for you to go. So if you're like me and you have 2 screens, you could be watching our training and following along with us. Click that launch links.
Yeah, real quick, I'm sharing that link, and you right here, add this to your calendar, Google CalFit, and you can hit the Facebook here. The trip to Mexico, and then down here is the Done For You merch store. So it's going to be really simple. Now, the thing is, I'm open to Q&A. So has anyone got any questions? You're welcome to come on and we can unmute you, or you can ask your question and we'll answer your question. But we are done with today's content.
Is the share link the affiliate link? Which I'm not sure what share link.
No, there's a link. There's a link in the we're using a tool called UpViral. It's a viral marketing tool that get people in there, and that's going to have its own link for getting points and tracking points, if that's what you're talking about.
Yes. And then, so click that launch link. So it'll have all your action steps, and we're super excited for tomorrow. I'm going to scroll up though. I saw a question by Joel. Question: I have a concept that starts with the company brand name with multiple lines of different branded products. How should this best be done?
Well, I think that's one of those things to where you'd have to maybe show us more information, but that's a great idea, right? So you think about like, what's a good analogy for that one? Well, I guess Printful or Printify could even fit in those categories, right? Printful is a brand. The name kind of says what it is. They have their mission statement, they have their value, but they have lots of products under the Printful brand that they offer to their customers. So having multiple products under a brand umbrella is a good idea. Same thing with Jennifer Lopez, same thing with most brands, right? The question is, what do you launch with? And then how do you market and brand extension? So I'll give you an example, and I can't remember the name, but Candace, remember that bracelet? There was some bracelet that took off online.
The Loci,
Was that
or-
the Loci?
where it was
There was
like
some-
the mud in the water.
Yeah. Well, that was one. There was multiple of them, but they launched with one product, like one piece of necklace, or it was a wristband thing. And this has happened lots of times. They launch with one product, they build their customer base up, they built their brand recognition up, then they launch into brand extension. So I would
Yes.
say to the answer to that question is, what's the hero product that's going to get the most clicks, the most emotional pull, the best thing, and then what's the product extension, right?
Yes.
So the idea is we kind of go through that thought process.
Which I want to make a comment about that, because we're going to be showing you how to launch your merch brand on demand. So merchandise, right? Printed goods, which we'll dive obviously more to in tomorrow. But I have clients who they have this great idea, these great designs, great graphics. They have their brand that they want to build, and they want to launch with like 20 different products, literally. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you have so many designs. Let's figure it out. Like he just said, let's be known for the one thing and then extend off of that. You're basically testing and learning your community. What does your ideal customer want? What do they love? And then you build off of that, which we will dive more into, but just something to think about.
Yeah, no, and that's a really good point, right? Because the other thing too is think about the mind of the consumer. If you can get into the mind of your consumer, the more products, oh, I like that color, or I like this, oh, I'm not sure if I want to get that, oh, that one's good, oh, maybe I can get this one. And then there's just the choices become too much. And so one of the things we're going to be showing you in this launching your brand is how do we do long form sales pages to promote a product. So like and we're going to do some of this live. Candace doesn't know this, but we're going to be doing some Get Your Own Damn Coffee and showing you what we're doing with that and how we're doing that. And then there was something I wanted to have you build a store live. What was it? It was, I can't remember what it is. But anyway, the idea is we have a long form sales page. We offer one product and it's buy it or leave, right? And then we have product extension from that. And we try to figure out what that hero product is that attracts people the best. And maybe it's the coffee mug, maybe it's this shirt design, maybe it's that shirt design. So we're gonna figure all that stuff out.
Yeah, Carmen goes, can't hit them with everything at once. Exactly, because then they kind of at first are overwhelmed, like what do I like, what do I don't like, and they get confused. You want to get rid of confusion and be known for that one thing at first.
All right, well, let's wrap it up then. So I will say thank you everybody. We appreciate you, and do what we do. Wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude. Tell somebody you love them, and you'll have a better day. Tomorrow is going to be even better than today.
Yes,
Bye,
thank
everybody.
you, everyone.